All right, thanks to everyone for joining us for the weekly press conference with head coach Lance Taylor. Coach will start with an opening statement on the bye week and how travel and recruiting went, and then we'll open up questions for this Saturday's game at Miami.
Coming off a bye week, it came at a great time for us to get some guys healthy, also focus on us for a week and continue to improve. Did some self-scout evaluation, really focused on technique and fundamentals of our craft, and also was able to recruit, which was great. Players came back yesterday after a couple of days off, had a great Sunday practice. I loved the energy and excitement they had to be back. It was great to have them back. Really missed them when they were gone. But it's great to get back to game week routine and rhythm. Our focus has to be going 1-0 this week and elevating the standard that we have created by outworking yesterday. We play one of the best, if not the best team in our conference in Miami this week. They've won their last 10 regular season MAC games, and I think they're the best and most complete team we have played all year from an offense, defense, and special team standpoint. They have playmakers in all three phases. They're well coached, they're disciplined, and they don't make mistakes to beat themselves. We've got to have our best week of preparation and elevate our standard of performance and preparation by how we show up and play, but also how we practice every single day. I'm excited. This will be a great test for our football team on the road against one of the best in our conference. They've been in the MAC championship the last 2 years, so I'm excited to see how our guys attack the week and play this weekend.
Wanted to start with tight end Blake Bosma. He left the game against Ball State, I believe, in the third quarter with a shoulder injury. Do you have any update on him, whether or not he'll be available for Miami this week?
Blake Bosma has been a warrior for us ever since I've gotten here for the last 3 years. He had a shoulder injury during the game. The bye week was great for him. He'll play this weekend. He's tough. He's played, he's had both shoulders at some point in his career, and re-aggravated it against the game last week, and so he'll be back this week.
Awesome. And then wanted to talk about the bye week. How important is it for you guys to have a bye week before, as you mentioned, one of, if not the toughest team in the MAC? You're going to Oxford, Ohio. How important was that bye week for you guys? Get that extra week of preparation in?
I think the bye week, if you use it correctly, is always critical. I think it comes at a really good time for us, especially as, you're 7 games in right now. And so, it allowed us to, one, get healthy, but also we really used it to evaluate ourselves. What are the things that we've done well? What are the things that we need to improve? How can we get better? It really was great for us to do a self-scout evaluation of ourselves. I think I've done this for the last couple of years. I've had our analysts break down each side of the ball and then present it to us as a staff. They did a great job with that. We've got great support here. Our analysts do an excellent job. I think, they're probably the unsung heroes. They do a lot of the dirty work, a lot of the things that, help us as coaches make our lives easier. They did an excellent job, really showed some tendencies that we have, and we really need to make sure that, we know what we're doing and how other teams are looking at us. So I appreciate the work that they put in this week. And then it allows us to get healthy and really recover as you go into the second half of your season. One of the things that I wanted to do was make sure that our players, one, we got better during the bye week, but also gave them enough time to recover and get healthy where they came back excited and energized for this second half of the season. And I think that they showed that as they came in yesterday for our Sunday practice.
You talked about entering the second half of the season. MAC's starting to shake out a little bit. Both you guys and Miami are 3-0 in the MAC. What's the mindset going into this week, knowing whoever comes out of this game kind of has a driver's seat position in the MAC race?
This game really is going to come down to who prepares best during the week and then who shows up and executes on game day. I think if you ask, Coach Chuck Martin, who's done an excellent job as the head coach there for 12 years, he's won 2 MAC championships, he would say the same thing. You ask their players, you ask our players, we're all going to say the same things. It really comes down to how we prepare and then how each other plays on Saturday. They're 3-0 in the MAC. They're on a 4-game winning streak. You can throw all those things out the window. Those things don't matter. Really what matters is who shows up on Saturday. But I think one of the things that's great for us, this will be a really good test against a really consistent top-tier football team in our league. I think it will be a good litmus test on where we are and where we stand. That's why I'm excited to see how our guys compete this week, see where we stack up, because this is one of the best, again, if not the best team in the league, and they're one of the most consistent.
quarterback DeQuan Finn, you've seen him before at Toledo, left for Baylor, and then came back to Miami this year. Probably their best player on offense, the engine, everything they do. He's their leading rusher. Can you talk a little bit about the matchup, with him, between an elite defense and a quarterback as talented as him?
DeQuan is an elite playmaker. He was 2023 MAC Player of the Year. When he was at Toledo, he knows this conference well. He's played in a ton of games. He has a ton of experience. I remember that game 2 years ago when he was at Toledo. I mean, he played really well in that game. He can hurt you in multiple ways, and I think that's what makes him so dynamic, is that he can hurt you in multiple ways. It's not just throwing the football. It's not just running the football. Both of those ways he can hurt you, but he's also really smart. He's an intelligent football player. He doesn't put the ball in harm's way. He gets it. He distributes it to the playmakers, and they have some really good playmakers. I mean, they've got 2 wide receivers that are really good. Cam Perry and Keith Reynolds, both really good on the perimeter. And then, I like both of their backs, Jordan Brunson and Kenny Tracy, both big physical backs, run downhill, and I think that we've got to do a great job, in all 3 phases. But defensively, we've got our work cut out for us. One, when you have a dynamic quarterback, he puts stress on your defense from a throwing and running standpoint. But then when you have other playmakers, it's not like you can just focus on DeQuan. Obviously, he's the quarterback. He's going to touch the ball every single play. So we've got to know, have a plan for him. But also, when you talk about the receivers, the skill players, and the running backs, they've got, really good players that, you can't just focus on DeQuan, and hey, if we just take, or just focus on DeQuan, we'll be able to handle and control the offense or control the tempo. No, I mean, they've got other players that can hurt you and score points and change the game for them.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Go Broncos.